The Corpse Brigade is gone. Fort Zeikden is gone. And with it, the illusion that justice could rise from below. History would call it a victory. But the snows of Gallion buried more than rebels that night. They buried the friendship of Ramza Beoulve and Delita Hyrule. One was lost to truth. The other, consumed by lies. When the smoke cleared, Ivalice named new enemies. Heretics, traitors, ghosts. Yet the greatest betrayal still waited. Delita would weave himself into the church's web, then tear it down from within. Ramza would stand against nobles and demons alike, earning only the name of heretic. The boy who dreamed of knighthood now wore golden plate mail won through manipulation. The boy who shared that dream slipped into rumor, forgotten by history. Yet from those ashes stepped two men who refused the roles the world had written for them. One rose by mastering deception, the other by rejecting it. Their paths would cross again, not as brothers, but as strangers. So begins the second act of Ivalice's tragedy, the Manipulative and the Subservient. A year has passed since Zeikden. Ramza wears no crest, no name, only the dust of battle and the stain of mercenary coin. He fights for whoever can pay, under a captain who sold his honor long ago. The Beoulve name is ash on his tongue. Delita, once a commoner orphan, now rides beneath banners of gold, the church calling him savior. A duke would call him useful. But those who knew him before see something else entirely. Eyes that calculate, with a smile that never reaches them. Both men wear masks, one to survive, the other to ascend. Between them stands a kingdom bleeding from its own lies, and a young princess, the next coin to be spent in a game of thrones. This is not a story of heroes. Rather, it is a story of players. And every move will cost a soul. Dawn comes gray and hollow over Orbonne Monastery. The storm has passed, yet the earth still bleeds from it. Sacrifices to a war with no victors, only survivors. Princess Ovelia is gone, taken by riders bearing Duke Boltana's banners. The church calls it a tragedy. Gaffgarion calls it a breach of contract. Agrias calls it treason. Ramza says nothing. He's haunted by the face of the man who took her. Delita Hyrule, alive, serving the Black Lion. The boy who once shared his dreams now wears a crown's worth of secrets. Agrias means to give chase alone, but Ramza stops her. He cannot explain why. He only knows he must. He must see Delita again, and understand what the years have made of him. The brother he buried in Gallion's snows walks again somehow, and Ramza needs to learn whether anything human remains beneath the gleaming golden plate he now wears. Gaffgarion grumbles that chasing ghosts is not part of the job, but gold spends the same whether it is earned or not. He will come, not for honor. He never had any to begin with. So they set out, a sellsword, a knight, and a heretic in the making. Alicia and Lavian ride with them, loyal to Agrias' Lion's Guard, with their capable squire lad, the last remnant of a duty already broken. Their road bends north toward the trade city of Dorter, where coin changes hands faster than truth. Somewhere in its alleys, someone has already paid to keep quiet. Night falls over Dorter, where gutters run thicker than the coin they carry. Trade City's wealth flows like sewage, hidden beneath the surface. In an alley, a mercenary leans against a tavern exterior. Before him, a mysterious man whose cloak bears no crest. He speaks with calm authority. The church's gold flows through these streets, but Duke Goltana's purse runs deeper. You'll find them before dawn, he says, sending a purse skipping across the stones in the would-be assassin's direction. The clink of gills sounds like confession. The mercenary company, the sellsword, the girl who calls herself Knight, and the boy who calls himself Beoulve. No survivors. The thugs nod. Loyalty comes cheap in Dorter, where every man's honor has a price. Nearby, laughter spills from taverns while, one street over, murder contracts change hands. The same guilds trading spices and silk deal in death. Ramza's party reaches the city gates. Rain from Orbonne hangs in the air, a chill reminder of what they've lost. They don't know Dorter's gates open to more than trade. Gaffgarion senses the trap. This place stinks of desperation, he mutters. Desperate men don't miss. Ramza draws his cloak tighter. He isn't wrong. The first crossbow bolt hits cobblestones before they see their enemy. In Dorter, every truth has a price, and tonight someone paid it in advance. The first warning is a bolt shattering dirt at Ramza's feet. Before anyone reacts, the streets erupt around them. Two archers rise from behind crumbling chimneys, sending arrows screaming into the narrow square. Across the way, two black mages step from broken doorways, hands already glowing with dark energy as they chant in perfect unison, their voices echoing off the weathered stone walls. Then come the thieves, two shapes slipping from opposite alleys like shadows given form, daggers flashing in the harsh morning light. One lunges for Ramza, murder in his eyes. The other cuts toward the squire, hoping to break their formation and scatter their defenses. Agrias meets the nearest blade with ringing parries that throw sparks, driving forward to make space and protect her charge. Gaffgarion drops the second thief with brutal efficiency, his great sword carving through flesh and bone, opening a precious moment for Alicia, Laven, and Lad to regroup and reposition. The battle turns into a desperate scramble through tight lanes and stacked crates that choke their movement. Lavian guards Ramza's flank as he presses the thieves, forcing them into the open where they're easily cut down. Lad charges the mages before their spells can crystallize, breaking their rhythm and forcing them into the defensive. Alicia climbs a leaning ladder to the rooftops, knocking one archer flat with a crushing blow, then drives the other into retreat, until Ramza finishes him below with precise strikes. When the last attacker falls, heavy silence settles over the streets like a burial shroud. Agrias studies the bodies scattered across the cobbles. This wasn't random banditry or desperate violence. These were paid professionals, killers hired to slow them and waste their time. And if Delita is smuggling a princess across Gallion, only one fortress suits a prize like that. Fort Bessalot, a massive bastion built to keep intruders out and to bury secrets deep within its walls. The road they travel bends south into the quiet shade of Araguay woods, where branches knot so thickly that sunlight breaks through in scattered, trembling pieces. Ramza slows first. He hears it before the others do. A panicked, high-pitched cry. Not human, but not monster. A chocobo bursts through the underbrush, feathers ragged, leg bleeding where a goblin's club struck. Behind it, a black goblin snarls orders, driving 5 smaller goblins ahead. They mean to bring the frightened bird down. Ramza doesn't hesitate. Before Gaffgarion can scoff or Agrias can speak, he's already charging, forcing the goblins to split their formation. Alicia and Lavian flank the pack while Lad draws the black goblin away with a hail of stones. Steel turns the tide quickly. Goblins fall or scatter back into the trees. When the woods finally still, the Chocobo nudges Ramza's shoulder, wary but grateful. They patch its wound and guide it back to the road. It doesn't leave. It follows. The thunder of Zeirchele Falls turns the cliffside into a living thing. Stone trembles under Ramza's boots as he spots figures on the bridge. 5 Northern Sky Knights, closing on Delita, who shields a terrified Ovelia at the center. Mist rises from the drop and bleaches the world until it feels half-remembered. The danger is not. One wrong step means death. Agrias doesn't wait. She shouts and sprints as blades lower. They will kill her if she hesitates. Ramza lunges to join her, and Gaffgarion's blade stops him cold. Steel flashes out of nowhere, hard enough to shove Ramza off balance on slick rock. The fight that follows is a raw and precarious thing, born from battling at the lip of a fatal fall. One slip, one shove, one mistake, and the river takes you. Gaffgarion's voice is colder than the spray. Orders changed, boy. The words cut deeper than iron. The chaos compounds. Delita unleashes sword arts Ramza has never seen, carving through knights with ruthless precision. Agrias holds 2 at once in stasis and forces them away from the princess. Alicia and Lavian spread wide while Lad barrels a knight too close to the edge. Ramza meets Gaffgarion again and again, every clash a knife to the heart. The man hired to guard Ovelia now means to kill her. One knight pinwheels into the torrents. 2 fall to Agrias. Delita crushes another with a final, staggering blow. Cursing and wounded, Gaffgarion slips into the trees, promising to finish the job another day. Between spray and echo, Ramza and Delita face each other. Older, colder, changed. Behind them, Ovelia trembles, alive, but far from safe. The clash at the falls ends not with victory, but with a strange, fragile quiet. Mist curls across the bridge as Ramza approaches Delita, who stands with Ovelia behind him, shaken but alive. The 3 of them linger in that narrow space between relief and unease. Ramza presses for answers, trying to reconcile the friend he once knew with the man before him. Delita speaks with a steady, almost rehearsed calm, each word sharpened by conviction. He insists he took Ovelia to save her. Duke Larg's knights were never her protectors, only another knife at her back. Today's attack proved that beyond a doubt. But he offers nothing more. Not the whole truth, not his true aim. His intentions drift behind his eyes, unreachable. Ramza senses it. So does Agrias. She steps forward, voice firm despite exhaustion. We cannot linger. Lionel Castle is our only chance. The Church of Glabados still claims neutrality. They'll offer her sanctuary, she says. Delita studies Agrias for a long moment, then nods. Not in agreement, but in acceptance. Then take her. For now, he says. Ovelia edges toward Ramza and Agrias, torn between fear and fragile trust. Delita watches her go, unreadable in the fading light. As Ramza leads the princess away, he glances back once. Delita stands alone at the cliffside, framed by falling water. A man walking a path only he understands. Zaland's stone towers rise above the road like watchful sentinels. The whole city pressed tight against its own walls. Ramza's group barely makes it through the gate before the shouting starts. Someone sprints down the main street, chased by armored shadows. A young man bursts into view, coat torn, clutching something close to his chest. Behind him come 2 knights with drawn blades, 2 archers already knocking arrows, and 2 black mages weaving the beginnings of fire spells. The crowd scatters, leaving the fugitive alone in the open. Ramza doesn't wait. He pulls the party forward, intercepting a knight's charge before the blow lands. Agrias meets the second knight with a shield-first rush, forcing him back into a fruit stall. Alicia and Lavian split wide to keep the archers from finding clean angles, while Lad drives between carts to break the mage's concentration before their spells ignite. The street becomes a tight, frantic melee, steel ringing off stone, arrows shattering against overturned crates, half-formed spells fizzling into smoke. One by one, the attackers fall or flee. Only then does the young man speak. He is a machinist from Gug, Mustadio Bunansa, and someone very dangerous wants him dead. They guide Mustadio into a quiet corner of Zaland, away from overturned stalls and curious eyes. Up close, he looks younger, scared and breathless, clutching his satchel like a last lifeline. When Ramza asks who chased him, the truth spills fast. Mustadio names the Baert Trading Company, a syndicate with money, muscle, and no hesitation. They want what he carries, a gem pulled from ruins beneath Gug. Not just a relic, but a Zodiac Stone, the Taurus Auracite. His father, Besrudio, found it while excavating ancient machinery. Word leaked. Days later, Baert's men stormed the workshop, seized Besrudio, and demanded the stone as ransom. Mustadio fled with the real Auracite, hoping to find someone who could free his father before the syndicate kills him. Agrias listens, outrage rising. Ramza feels the weight too. This is not a thief on the run. It is a family being crushed for something they barely understand. When Mustadio asks to join them, voice shaking, hope fragile, Ovelia gives Ramza a small nod. Ramza agrees. The party grows by one machinist and one dangerous secret. In the half-collapsed ruins near Lionel, Agrias and Ovelia pause while the others make camp. The distant silhouette of Lionel Castle rests beyond the mountains, a fragile promise Ovelia no longer trusts. She thinks of a life spent behind monastery walls, passed from cloister to cloister like a sacred object instead of a living girl. Her thoughts drift to Orbonne, and to another young woman who shared that cloistered fate. Alma Beoulve, Ramza's sister, her only true friend. Ramza arrives in time to hear Alma's name on the wind, the memory catching him off guard. He realizes Alma was a tether for Ovelia long before their paths crossed on the battlefield. Ovelia wonders if Cardinal Delacroix will treat her as everyone else has, a symbol, a piece on a board. Ramza can't remain a distant observer anymore. The moment gentles. Ovelia struggles to whistle with a blade of grass, embarrassed but stubborn. Ramza shows her the trick, echoing a treasured memory he once shared with Delita on Mandalia Plains, from a world that once felt kinder. When Ovelia finally coaxes a clear note from the grass, a small, unguarded smile breaks through. The sound is brief, yet rare. Hope, momentarily free of duty and fear. The climb up Balius Tor is steep, the path tightening between jagged ledges and wind-carved stone. Halfway to the ridge, Ramza halts. The air sharpens. Then the trap snaps. Two summoners rise behind boulders, glyphs flaring at their feet. Two archers claim a broken wall. Two armored knights block the path. An unavoidable battle. The first summon erupts in color, forcing the party to break before it fully forms. Ramza drives into the knights to keep them from the casters. Agrias cuts across the flank, smashing one archer from his perch. Alicia and Lavian rush the other summoner before its chant completes, while Lad uses the slope to harry the remaining archer into retreat. The hillside becomes stormlight and ringing steel. One by one, Baert's hirelings fall back or fall. The road to Lionel opens, and the danger only grows. For now. Ramza presses Mustadio for answers on why the Baert Company is after him. A shaken Mustadio apologizes, but he cannot tell him why, adding an air of dangerous intrigue to the young machinist. Night settles over Agrias Castle. In Dark Beoulve's private chambers, the air is heavy with calculation. He and Gaffgarion sit across a small table, a map between them lit by firelight. Dark simmers with controlled fury. Princess Ovelia has slipped his agents, and Agrias still shields her. To Dark, this is no more inconvenience. It is an affront. He intends to see Ovelia crushed before she can be of use to his rivals, and he expects Gaffgarion to finish the job. Gaffgarion raises Ramza's interference, a loose thread that could unravel everything. Dark regards his younger brother as a naive idealist clinging to his father's worn-out sense of justice. If Ramza stands aside, the problem solves itself. If he does not, Dark considers the outcome inevitable. They turn to the failed kidnapping and the bodies found in the woods, proof that someone else has scented Dark's schemes. He stays calm. As long as Ovelia travels under Agrias' protection, another chance to reclaim her will come. Gaffgarion leaves with fresh orders, fully aware that Dark has accounted for every misstep, save one: the stubborn loyalty of the brother he underestimates. Lionel Castle rises from the coastline like a promise. White stone, bright banners, and holy sigils carved into its walls that make anyone believe safety has finally arrived. After days of ambushes, betrayal, and chasing shadows, Ramza's company feels the weight lift as the drawbridge lowers. Cardinal Delacroix meets them with open arms and a warm smile. He welcomes Princess Ovelia as if she were returning royalty, not a fugitive caught between two warring lions. Agrias kneels at once, grateful, exhausted, and eager to place Ovelia beyond northern plots. Even Ramza feels a flicker of hope as servants usher them inside, promising warm beds and a night without blades at their backs. The deeper they walk into Lionel's halls, the comfort thins. Delacroix speaks easily about politics he should not know, and his interest in Mustadio's tale of Auracite lands too sharp. When he reveals a Zodiac Stone of his own, the room shifts. He grants Ovelia sanctuary. He urges Agrias to remain as her sworn protector. Then he sends Ramza and Mustadio away, almost eagerly, on an errand to Gug. Agrias shares a final goodbye with her faithful companions, Alicia, Lavian, and Lad, encouraging them to bring the honor and duty that the Lion's Guard demands to all they meet. If one didn't know better, they may have sensed tears and reluctance in their farewells. Hospitality lingers with an aftertaste. Safety here feels rehearsed, and the Cardinal's smile lasts just a moment too long. The march toward Gug pulls Ramza's smaller company into the Chigolith fenlands, a stretch of swamp where fog curls low and every step sinks with a wet pull. The very air they breathe feels wrong somehow. Heavy. Watching. A skeletal hand breaks the surface first, then another. Two skeletons haul themselves upright from the muck, water pouring through empty ribs. From the reeds, two ghouls stagger forward, skin gray and twitching like something dragged back from the brink. A floating eye drifts above the water, pupil narrowing as it fixes on them. Behind it, a bone snatch rises with jagged limbs and grasping claws, a corpse assembled by malice. Ramza steadies the group. Alicia and Lavian take the flanks while Lad keeps the eye from casting. Mustadio fires measured shots that drive the ghouls back, and Ramza meets the bone snatch head-on before it can pull anyone under. When the last creature collapses, the fen goes still. In Evilise, Even the dead keep unfinished battles. Gug rises from the valley like a living engine, chimneys coughing steam into the sky. Iron walkways crisscross overhead, and every distant clang and hiss echoes through streets worn smooth by generations. Ramza and Mustadio weave through the crowds, wrapped in smoke, metal, dust, and the dull glow of forge fires. For a city known for its chaos and clamor, something feels off. The noise rings hollow. The streets feel watched. Mustadio notes what is missing. No sign of Baert's men shaking down passersby. No evidence that Lionel's soldiers ever scoured these alleys. Whatever storm passed through Gug did so without witness, or left none behind. A knot of unease tightens in his chest as he scans the maze of iron and stone. He signals toward the lower district, Gug's Low Town, where laborers, smugglers, and worse disappear into the steam. If Baert's thugs are still in the city, they will be there. At a branching street choked with fog and runoff from the pipes, Ramza and Mustadio part ways, each vanishing into the shrouded arteries of a city that guards its secret like treasure. The slums of Gug feel like a world apart. Steam hisses from broken lines. Rusted gearworks lie half buried in mud. Shadows move where no one stands. Ramza steps into a clearing between gutted foundries, and the trap springs. Two thieves shove a battered Mustadio forward, blades pressed to his ribs. High above on a sagging catwalk, two archers track Ramza's every breath. Beside a noosed frame, two summoners wait, their glyphs already glowing. Between them, lounging as if he owns the entire slum, sits Ludovic Baert, founder of the Baert Company, smiling like a man who has already been paid. Mustadio coughs out the only instruction he can. Ramza, the stone. It is right near you. Ramza kneels, rummages through a pile of scrap, and closes his hand around the Taurus Auracite. Faint light glimmers inside it. Too valuable, too dangerous. Mustadio's life comes first. He offers it up. Ludovic plucks the stone from the air with his palm, savoring the weight. A fair trade, Ramza says. Release him. Ludovic's smile thins. Oh, I intend to. He snaps his fingers. Kill them all. The thieves tighten their grip. The archers draw. The summoners' circles flare. Ramza's companions surge from cover, and the slums erupt. Steel clashes with summoned beasts. Arrows skip across metal plating. Mustadio scrambles to safety, still unarmed, but alive, and willing to fight. When the last company thug falls, the party moves fast. They rush to Besrudio's hiding place and cut him free. He is shaking. If Ludovic truly held the Auracite, the city would hunt them. Mustadio reaches into his coat. He pulls out the real stone. Ludovic got a flawless fake. It buys them time, not safety. The Baert Company will soon spot the lie. Staying in Gug is suicide. Mustadio's jaw tightens. Agrias and Ovelia. If Delacroix never sent his troops, he may be tied to all this. Ramza does not hesitate. Then we go back. We save them. They head for Warhelis, aiming to reach Lionel by sea. Before they depart, Ramza's group arms themselves with Gug-forged firearms. Every enemy from here on will come prepared. Warhelis is wrapped in morning fog when Ramza reaches the docks, the kind of mist that blurs silhouettes and muffles voices. Sailors haul crates in the distance. Gulls cry overhead. And then a figure steps through the haze with purpose. Delita. He moves with the calm certainty of someone who already knows how this conversation ends. No blade drawn, no soldiers in tow, just that steady, unreadable look he has worn since resurfacing at the falls. He tells Ramza, almost gently, that he is meddling with forces far bigger than any sellsword can grasp. The princes, the dukes, the church, all of them are entangled in the same sprawling scheme. Delita insists he is steering its current. Ramza should not fight the flow, or he will drown in it. Ramza tries to press him, but Delita offers only fragments, warnings without answers, conviction without explanation. Then he turns and disappears back into the fog as quickly as he arrived. Ramza stands there for a long moment. If Delita is right, Ovelia and Agrias may already be in danger. With that thought burning in his chest, he boards the next ship east. Whatever Delita is planning, Ramza will not abandon them to face it alone. Lionel Castle's audience chamber lies wrapped in dim candlelight. Shadows cling to stone while power moves in quiet currents. Behind his desk, Cardinal Delacroix presides with practiced calm, the air thick with incense and barely veiled menace. Gaffgarion and Ludovic stand before him, summoned to answer for failure. Piece by piece, the design emerges. Delacroix and Beoulve have tied their interests together. The church will secure the Zodiac Stones and Princess Ovelia, and Dystarg will clear the path for the Cardinal's rise. Ovelia has been reduced to bait, a living snare meant to draw Ramza, Agrias, and any inconvenient witnesses into a controlled execution. Gaffgarion accepts his place in the plan, certain that brutality and discipline will carry him where others fall short. Ludovic, already stained by his failures in Gug, buckles under the pressure and begs for mercy. Delacroix moves with unhurried grace. His judgment is swift and final. One blow, and Ludovic's voice disappears into the silence. Gaffgarion departs with fresh orders and absolute clarity. The Cardinal tolerates nothing less than perfection, and those who disappoint him do not leave the chamber alive. Balius Swale looks quiet at first. Low grass, shallow pools, fog drifting across the flats. Ramza spots the trouble instantly. Agrias stands in the center of the marsh, armor dented, blade shaking. 2 knights press her hard. 2 archers fire from a stone rise. 2 black mages chant behind them, spell light pulsing at their fingertips. Ramza charges before anyone else can react. The mages loose their spells, but Lad barrels into them and breaks their focus. Alicia and Lavian rush the archers and drive them off their perch. Ramza reaches Agrias in time to catch a knight's killing blow on his own blade. Together they turn the tide, steel on steel, until the last of Delacroix's men sink into the swamp. Only when the danger fades does Agrias breathe. She tells them everything. The Cardinal betrayed them, imprisoned her, and seized Ovelia. The princess is on the road to Golgotha Gallows for execution. There is no time to waste. Ramza offers her a place at his side, not as a guest, but as a true ally. Agrias accepts without hesitation, reuniting with Ramza and Mustadio, and with Alicia, Lavian, and Lad. She rejoins the party as a full companion, ready to cut down anyone who stands between them and Ovelia. Golgotha Gallows sits like a scar on the hillside, all weathered beams and rusted chains, with enough old rope to remind anyone that justice in Ivalice rarely waits for truth. Ramza arrives with only 5 at his side. The narrow, winding approach forces the rest to stay behind. It's quiet. It's too quiet. A hooded executioner stands at the platform. A young woman, slight and trembling, kneels with her hands bound. From a distance, she looks like Ovelia. Everything about the scene feels staged, but there's no time to think, only to act. Ramza calls out. The woman rises in a single fluid motion and draws a bow from beneath her cloak, the executioner sheds his hood with a flourish, revealing a familiar smirk beneath darkened steel. Gaffgarion. His ambush snaps to life. 3 knights rush from behind the platform, shields raised. 2 archers step from the scaffold shadows. On the far ridgeline, 2 time mages begin weaving spells that twist the very pace of the battlefield. Ramza's small company is outnumbered 8-5, trapped in a killing field designed to bury them. Gaffgarion aims to finish what he started at the falls, his blade hungry for Ramza's blood. Spells distort movement, limbs drag while arrows fly faster. Knights press hard as archers pin Ramza into exposed positions. It's one of the most brutal fights the young Beoulve has ever faced. Inch by inch, the balance shifts. 1 knight falls, then an archer, then a time mage loses focus and crumples beneath Lavion's blade. Pushed to the edge of defeat, Gaffgarion spits a curse and slips into the night, vowing it isn't over. The gallows falls silent. With the trap dismantled, the road to Lionel opens once more. There's no time to rest. The true Ovelia still waits to be saved. Far below Lionel Castle, Princess Ovelia kneels on the floor of a narrow stone cell. Her meal sits untouched, cold beside her. The air hangs damp and still. Days of fear and isolation have worn her thin. She rejects food. She rejects questions. She clings to the one power left to her: refusal. Delita steps inside first, a quiet silhouette at the edge of candlelight. He speaks softly, trying to draw her back from the hollow place she has retreated to. She meets him with hard suspicion. In her eyes, he has always been the Cardinal's creature, another player in a game built around her life. She demands his true purpose. Will he trade her to Duke Larg, or will he wield her as his own weapon? His answers stay vague, a promise to place her where she ought to be. For the first time, she hears in him the same ruthless resolve she always heard in nobles. Their fraught exchange breaks when Cardinal Delacroix arrives with the purple-clad knight from Dorter. Fulmarv Tengil studies her as if she were a mechanism to be taken apart, then calmly dismantles her entire existence. The girl in this cell is not Ovelia Atachka, he says. The real princess died years ago. This Ovelia was placed in the cradle as her replacement, a counterfeit heir engineered to unseat a despised queen. The truth lands like a blow. Her duty, her sacrifices, every wound endured for the crown, all of it exposed as scenes in a script written by others. Delacroix and Fulmarv leave, confident the revelation will bend her to their design. Delita follows, pausing only for a brief, unreadable glance. Left alone in the echoing dark, Ovelia kneels amid the ruins of her identity. Even her name was never truly hers. Lionel Castle looms ahead, its towers black against the night sky, torches flickering like watchful eyes. Ramza and his company approach quietly, hoping to slip inside before Delacroix learns of their survival at Golgolata. The moment they reach the drawbridge, the trap springs. Loud, sudden, merciless. The portcullis slams down between them with a thunderous crash, splitting the party. Ramza is forced inside the gatehouse alone. The other 4 are stranded outside with enemy blades closing in. Waiting in the courtyard, illuminated by torchlight and framed by iron bars like some dark omen, stands Gaffgarion. He smiles as he draws his blade. Steel flashes. Ramza barely turns the opening strike. Gaffgarion fights with the fury of a man who has failed too many times and refuses to fail again. He uses the narrow courtyard to his advantage, pressing Ramza toward the shadows, striking with brutal efficiency, every blow meant to kill. Outside the gatehouse, Agrias leads a desperate push against Delacroix's knights. Archers fire from the battlements. Squires hold the line. A summoner's spell streaks across the moat like falling stars. Alicia, Lavian, and Mustadio fight tooth and nail just to keep the gate defenders from overwhelming them. Inside, Ramza finally turns the duel. Gaffgarion grows reckless as his life wanes. A final exchange. Steel meets steel. Sparks fly, and Ramza's blade finds its mark. Gaffgarion collapses, defeated but not apologetic. His last look carries something like respect, twisted by bitterness. Ramza offers simple words to his fallen mentor. Goodbye, Gaffgarion. With the mercenary slain, Ramza hauls the gate lever. The portcullis rises, reuniting the party. Together, they rush into Lionel's inner halls. The real enemy waits deeper inside. The halls of Lionel are too quiet. No guards rush to stop them. No servants flee in terror. Only the soft echo of boots against stone, as Ramza and his companions push deeper into the keep. It feels less like a castle and more like a stage, prepared for its final act. They find Cardinal Delacroix in the oratory, sitting before a shrine of Saint Ajora, as though in prayer. The moment he rises, the warmth he once projected vanishes. His smile is gone. His eyes burn with something colder and sharper, hunger wrapped in silk. He congratulates Ramza for surviving the traps meant to kill him, and thanks him for delivering Mustadio and the Taurus stone. When Ramza demands to know where Princess Ovelia is, Delacroix laughs a low, indulgent sound that echoes off the vaulted ceiling. He speaks openly now. The church needs no princess, no dukes, no nobles. Those are temporary masks. What they desire is power, the kind sealed within Zodiac Stones. He produces the Scorpio stone from his robes, its glow pulsing like something alive. As he steps forward, his voice distorts. His skin twists, bones shifting beneath flesh. The stone's light spreads across him like a sickness. The Cardinal's true faith reveals itself. Not in Ajora, not in the church, but in the Lucavi. Delacroix's transformation is complete. Before Ramza stands no man at all, but the demon, Cuchulainn, the impure. Cuchulain's arrival turns the chapel into a suffocating nightmare. Candles gutter out, tiles crack under the weight of its swelling, corrupted flesh. What was once Delacroix now writhes forward, bloated, rotting, dripping venom that sizzles on the stone. Its laughter fractures into a dozen overlapping voices, none of them human. Ramza calls the formation. Mustadio fires first, but the bullet sinks into the creature's grotesque hide without effect. Cuchulainn answers with a wave of poisonous miasma, forcing the party to scatter. Alicia staggers as the toxin burns her lungs. Agrias intercepts, shoving Alicia back and lifting her shield into the haze. The demon's magics twist the air itself, slowing movement, bending light, warping sound. Agrias stands firm and steps through the corruption with holy conviction. Her blade ignites and arcs bright across the demon's mass, searing flesh. Mustadio times his shots to open lanes for Ramza. Ramza charges and refuses to yield. He cuts deep, steel hissing through foul muscle. Agrias joins him, their strikes falling in perfect rhythm, until the Scorpio stone embedded in the demon's chest pulses hard enough to panic the creature. Cuchulainn screeches and thrashes. Its body collapses inward as the stone destabilizes. Ramza drives his sword into the corrupted glow. A blinding flash erupts. Pure, cleansing light that fills the chapel. When it fades, the demon is gone. There is no sign of Delacroix's body. Only the inert Scorpio stone. The first Lucavi has fallen. The truth behind the stones is only beginning to reveal itself. Zeltenia Castle hums with tension as Delita delivers Princess Ovelia into Duke Goltana's waiting court. Advisors circle the Duke like wary wolves, each measuring the young knight who kneels before them. Delita presents himself as a loyal Black Ram officer, claiming he rescued Ovelia while disguised among Goltana's own men. A convenient fiction crafted for exactly this moment. Goltana listens, intrigued, and demands to see the prisoner Delita claims to have captured. The man is dragged forward in chains, trembling beneath the weight of the southern sky's scrutiny. When pressed, the captive confesses that the attempt on Ovelia's life was meant to stain Goltana's reputation and keep him from ascending to the regency. The court erupts, accusations and denials and outrage colliding at once. Delita guides the chaos with a surgeon's precision. He directs every question, every glance, until suspicion settles on Chancellor Glavan. The Chancellor sputters in protest. The moment he falters, Delita strikes, swift and merciless. Glavan falls before the court, and with his death, Delita creates both a traitor and an opening. Then he presses his advantage. If Goltana delays, the North will weaponize this treason against him. The southern sky must march now. Lassalia must be challenged. And Ovelia, his Ovelia, must be crowned. Goltana agrees. In that instant, the first true blow of the War of the Lions lands, engineered not by dukes or councils, but by one ambitious man who understands how to shape history. The kingdom fractures in a single sweep of ambition. In the wake of Zeltenia's upheaval, Duke Goltana seizes the momentum Delita has handed him. His banners sweep into the royal capital of Lassalia, scattering what remains of the court. Queen Louveria is taken for her role in the long-hidden plot around the succession and sent to the remote fortress at Bessalot, far from allies, power, or influence. With the throne vacant and the realm in turmoil, Goltana crowns Princess Ovelia as queen. Her claim is contested and fragile, yet strong enough to rally the southern sky beneath her banner. To Goltana, she is both symbol and shield. Duke Larg refuses to yield. Declaring Prince Orinus the rightful heir, he crowns the boy and names himself regent, claiming the mantle of protector of the true bloodline. Two monarchs now rule one kingdom. Two futures carried by two armies, and no room for compromise. Larg moves first, sending the Order of the Northern Sky to Bessalot under the pretense of rescuing the exiled queen. Goltana answers at once, ordering the Southern Sky to march in Ovelia's name. Across Ivalice, beacons flare, messengers ride, swords rise. The first lines are cut into history. The War of the Lions begins. Chapter 2 closes with the two boys of Garland standing on opposite shores of the same truth, each shaped by the world in ways neither could have imagined. Ramza rides from Lionel, battered but unbroken. He has seen the church's mask slip, watched a trusted mentor turn against him, and fought a demon born from holy lies. Each step now takes him farther from his family name, and deeper into the wilderness of ideals he refuses to abandon. He has no army, no title, no sanction. Only the conviction that someone must stand between Ivalice and the forces swallowing it whole. Agrias rides at his side, her faith anchored to Ramza rather than the church, and Mustadio follows with the weight of ancient secrets in his pack. Together, they push toward a future none of them can see. Delita moves in the opposite direction, straight into the heart of power. With Ovelia crowned and Goltana's trust secured, he ascends with quiet, calculated purpose. Every gesture, every lie, every whispered word becomes another rung on the ladder he means to climb. His path is paved with necessity, not idealism. They do not know it yet, but their stories are no longer parallel. They are on a collision course, one driven by loyalty, the other by ambition. On the horizon, the valiant rise, in defense of crown, of country, of clergy. And all of them will learn what their choices truly cost.